Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier. I had wanted to break down a detailed overview of the who, what, and when having to do with Citizencon, which is coming up really soon. Spoiler, if you didn't know. The when is actually super frustrating because it's simply listed as TBD, but it's CIG, whatever. I'm actually quite indifferent personally if it's recorded or live, seeing how it's remote anyway. And we should always applaud CIG for their desire to do everything live and for real. It's highly critical to demonstrate the current live proof of concept because of the somewhat bipolar public perception of this project. It's a lot of P's. It's critical to demonstrate that things work, and that always comes with the risk of a backfire. I'm not being cynical at all. I really love the audacity demonstrated by CIG in the past making such a complex show occur live. But things do go pear-shaped, and sometimes, despite of what people say that there's no such thing as bad press, there is obviously a tipping point where there is. So what I'm going to do today is give you a rundown of what the listed panels are and try to put what I expect to see in context as a Star Citizen content creator who's been following the project in detail for over 7 years. First on the list is an opening with Chris Roberts, and this is usually where all of the warm welcomes and milestones are highlighted. He will usually officially announce any new collaborations or partnerships with companies such as Faceware, Tobii, Intel, and AMD. It's usually a recap and mild teaser, plus it's always nice to hear from our founder, creator, and CEO, and he's why we're all watching and waiting, so it's great to get some trigger time with the main man. There's a listing for Life in the Verse with a set of developer royalties such as Todd Pappy, plus Ian and David from Art and Narrative. I would love this section to show us the build from 6 months from now. Similar to what we may have seen before when they demoed the newest version of the player-actor status system, I would love to see the changes having to do with the progress in jump points and the most current version of the Pyro system. Recently, ISC and SE Live have stopped focusing so much on Pyro, which to me is an indication that it may be a lot further developed than announced officially. Chris loves a good surprise, and not that I feel that it's ready for our consumption, because we actually need meshing and other foundational optimizations. I just think it would be neat to see it. There's a segment titled Ship Talk with more developer royalty. Paul Jones, Ben Curtis, and John Crew will likely speak about the newest condition of the ships in the pipeline, and I'd be shocked if this opportunity wasn't seized by them to discuss the newest ships that are being released today, which are historically announced at this show. There are leaks of some, but almost certainly we'll see the 400i, and I would love an update on the Vulture and Hull C. Historically, during Citizencon, they usually launch some whale food in the form of a plus $600 concept. These have been Polaris and Kraken variants. I think one year they launched the Mole. Not too expensive. Good for business to keep the development fires going, know your limits, and pledge with your brain, not your heart. Next on the list is all about optimizations with Gen 12 and Vulkan API. An API is a chunk of code that sits between the game engine and the hardware that renders it. Different APIs handle visuals and features differently, with the goal of showing more better at higher frame rates. Legacy APIs are being updated with the more current tech, and I'm expecting this technical panel to come with a ton of very specific information. Crafting Worlds will be a cool segment which discusses the most current version of the tooling that's being used to build our planets and moons. We know that the universe will be vast and populated with diverse locations to explore. Each will need a unique look and feel. Server meshing and persistence is widely known as the current main blocker or obstacle to overcome in Star Citizen, a globally massively multiplayer real-time space simulation in a seamless, holistic experience. We're currently capped at 50 per server for testing, but meshed servers, streaming, and persistence are obviously needed. It'll be great to get an updated rundown of the state so that we can make some educated guesses on when this progress might be moving forward. And that'll of course indicate how much longer we have to wait. Sound space may seem less interesting than others, however these are the ones that historically provided the most insight and interest. I don't know very much about what we'll see, but it's bound to be interesting. Tony is listed near the end with Luke and Rob and Ben in a panel called Stream for Thought. Quite unlikely to focus on subsumption and quanta, as we recently got a good update on that subject, and based on the title, I would expect it to touch mostly on how OCS and persistent are progressing, and these are somewhat tied into subsumption, so it'll touch a little bit on that. And we'll end on a usual keynote. Chris loves to show the next 6 months, and this is usually where the best B-roll for the next year comes from. We might see some salvage, or perhaps a ship that'll be releasing soon. It's unlikely that we're going to see another vertical slice for Squadron 42, as things have been quite dormant on that front. This is usually a visual treat, and if you can see only one panel, this is the one you want to watch. So that's it for the schedule. I will always work to break down the information, and it's my goal to grow the channel. So please watch out for the content coming up in the next couple days and immediately after from this channel. Your support is always appreciated in the comments or whenever I see a new name that's found their way through another's recommendation. Please check out the Discord, it's free to join. Other backers are discussing the future of our game there, and it might actually be quite fun to get involved in that. Stay tuned for more. Fly safe, and I'll see you